I've been trying to concentrate on the now, but I'm struggling to work out what that is. Well, now is not that big of a deal, and that's why the emphasis on trying to concentrate on it ends up driving you nuts. Because you're born with an intelligence that is naturally creative, is naturally curious, and is fascinated by the world. And then at some point in the development, there you either encounter a school teacher or a parent that in some ways doesn't promote and encourage your natural intelligence. And so then you internalize that what you want is not okay, how you think is not okay. Thinking at all is somehow dangerous. We come across like sort of the anti-conceptual models of spirituality. Oh, don't think. Don't use your reason. Don't use your brain. Hide, quick, hurry. And so all of these things add to this incredible confusion that comes. The confusion is caused by the fact that you're simply not expressing yourself as you are, which is a clear, rational, intelligent, creative, curious human being, a free individual. So your frustration is probably caused because you're inside some kind of mystical, spiritual model. You might be believing Buddhism or Hinduism or any of non-duality. You might be caught in these destructive philosophies that are they're designed to take what is most basic about the human experience, which is perception, and turn the perception into the identity, totally denying the rational capacity that organizes what is perceived and then interacts with it intelligently. The world makes sense. We live in an incredible time that makes total sense. Well, like a lot of the legwork has been done. So what would you like to create? What would you like to really do here? This sort of the spiritual, the sticking with perception only. I have to. Perception is my identity. Like that's. Just imagine. Just imagine. I mean, imagine as if you can. Imagine the difference between a culture that idolizes this and a culture that idolizes thinking and rational capacity. Who built the world? Or, now let's see. Figure this out. Measure this. We need to bring this here, put this wall here, put this wall here. We're going to need food. We have some plumbing. We're going to need to figure out how to get water in here. Who built the airplanes? Was it the people thinking? Or was it the people attempting to escape existence by defaulting to perception, defaulting to consciousness? Because that's the invitation in spirituality, is to give up your intelligence, give up your capacity to think critically, and become a vegetable. Even though that vegetable state is relaxing, it's suicide. And if you don't care about living, well, then that makes sense. I mean, that's why spirituality exists, because existence is terrifying. And since I don't want to think about it, I don't want to think and accept and examine and investigate and use my intelligence to overcome and deal with the problems and struggles that arise in my life, then I look for some spiritual answer. to do that for me. And it works because it's suicidal. I don't want to exist anyway. So rather than having the courage to kill myself, I go towards spirituality so that I can live a mental death. I can commit mental suicide, intelligence suicide. I put my intelligence on the chopping block and then I cut it in pieces. When I say things like, nothing's here, or consciousness is the idol. Seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, feeling, that's it. That's all there is. All the while, totally knowing, which is why it's confusing, that there is this rational capacity to organize and create. Perception is nothing. Life is literally nothing without this capacity. Your capacity to choose, to think, to remember, to analyze. That is what creates the world. The intelligent aspects of the world. And so the fight that you're up against is literally continually trying to trade your intelligence for some kind of solution. And that's why it doesn't work, and that's why it's confusing. Because your natural intelligence is the solution. The only problem with that is you have to think. You have to sit down and go through the process of intelligently examining your life. And then taking responsibility for your choices. You didn't create the world, but you definitely are creating how you respond to it. Whether your philosophy is such that you don't exist or not, it's still you. Denial is a philosophy. So it looks like somebody's safe, but all they're doing is denying their intelligence. Relaxing into perception being the identity. What I am is perception. Yeah, but we need to fix the refrigerator. You'll have to call somebody else. Well, how are you going to eat? I don't know, I'm perception. Food will just come. Ah, the roof's leaking. Well, that's okay. I'll just perceive the water dripping on me. But you're going to get hypothermia. It's okay. I'll just be cold. I'm perception. Like, nobody actually lives this way because we're really intelligent. So perception is already the case. You're here. You exist. Now, what do you want to create? What do you want to explore? What are you curious about? What do you want to make easier? You're intelligent. Maybe there's some streamlining that can happen in your life. The only problem with any of these questions is that in order to investigate them, you have to think. And you can. You can sit down and figure anything out. It might not be easy at first, but that's what learning is. You can do anything you put your mind to, including commit mental suicide, through spiritual ideas of perception is my identity. I've been making videos like that for years, for the last 2 years, because it's the simplest way to feel like everything's okay, and it doesn't work. unless you want to die, because it is mental suicide.